Alright, so I finished my readings for today and I wanted to jump on these Dear Astra questions because we just got an influx of a bunch of them. And we tried to do like a group chat before where we were answering questions. But I think from here on out, we're probably just going to pick and choose the ones that kind of resonate with us individually. By us, I mean the other, or myself, as well as the other 5 admins. And I apologize if I mess this up in the process because I have had a really hard time communicating since Mercury went retrograde. Like my brain is all over the place and I've been stumbling over words. I don't even know why because I don't have a lot of Virgo in my chart. But okay, so today Lydia, is going to pick, or I picked 4 questions to go over. And a couple of those did have the chart with them too, which was kind of cool. So yeah, I'm just going to read those off and then provide answers. If you have asked questions, don't worry, your questions are coming. One of us definitely will pick you and choose your questions and go over them. A lot of the questions that I looked over, I was just trying to make sure that I hadn't answered them before. Because sometimes when it comes to charts, we tend to have like these certain questions that we kind of hold on to and we want to get a better understanding with astrology. It's like almost every person has them. They want this one answer for this one area that they'd like to perfect. And I've seen these questions before. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't re-answer any of those and that other admins and stuff could get a chance to do that too. So, my first question was, what stands out as my most positive placement slash aspect and most harmful? Ooh. This literally might be one of the most complicated questions I've ever received. And I mean that during my own readings as well. It's really tricky to say. I apologize. My son's home and he has this tablet and I keep trying to usher him into his room. But yeah, that is a very complicated question. I like it though. It's interesting. Um, Negative aspect wise, I'm not going to give the details of this chart obviously because it's supposed to be anonymous. So I'm not going to give like specifics of the date and all of that. But I will give aspect specifics. And it's tough because this chart really doesn't have a bunch of super negative aspects. Like it really doesn't. There's not that many squares. There's like what, like a handful of squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I guess there's like 8, but that's still not many at all. And they're all spread out. And they're not like, there's nothing super adverse from Pluto or super adverse from Mars. And then there's a couple little cute quintile aspects between Venus quintile Jupiter, Jupiter quintile Mars, and Sun quintile North Node. That's the one that I would go with, I think, for the most positive aspect. Um, the sun making a quintile to your north node, and the sun is in Pisces, by the way, and the north node is in Taurus. Yeah, that's just like a really sweet one. Your sun is working in harmony with your north node, but not only is it working in harmony, it's working in a way that it gives you some sort of talent. So, expressing your north node energy, which is in your 3rd house, ruling over your communication and learning, somehow having that Taurus energy meshed with your Pisces sun in your first. Oh, that's sweet. Sweet, super sweet, actually, because you're an Aquarius North Node. But those two together, just, yeah, that's a sweet one. It would be nice to have those two aiding together and kind of anything that you do with the energy of your North Node, your sun's kind of backing it up and really assisting you in living out that energy to your fullest. And not only that, it's giving you some sort of talent, some sort of special ability to utilize your North Node in a way that will most likely bring forth some sort of results that are more material in a sense. Not material like money focus. I just mean that they're going to materialize your North Node talents. From a negative perspective, I am going to say that the most negative aspect in your chart would probably be your sun square your moon. There's a lot of other like squares and oppositions and stuff that I could go off to with that. But those two together always make me sad to see in somebody's chart. Because for one thing, it normally involves some sort of friction between the parents. And so you're raised as a child kind of growing up in that situation, kind of having to deal with 2 parents who are very, very different. But then it also goes on to kind of affect you internally. So the square between Pisces and Gemini, you're working with energy that is highly empathetic and compassionate, free-flowing and all over the place. And then Gemini, which is all mental and it's airy and it's all about finding an answer, a logical solution. Whereas Pisces is all about finding more of a spiritual truth in a sense. So when you're going like back and forth and kind of those two are like fighting against each other, you have this personality that wants both answers as well as faith. And it can be really hard to kind of reach a common ground with those two and kind of figure out how to use them to your benefit. But although that might be the most negative one that I'm pointing out in the chart, that does not mean that it's something that will follow you for the rest of your life. It's so important to consider with adverse aspects that they're not a death sentence. It's just a part of you that needs more development. And from a karmic perspective, that just means that you came into this life needing to kind of learn more from a soul related level within that area. So don't take that as something that like you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life. That's not true. That's not feasible to view astrology in that way. It's just something that I could see aiding in like a friction, definitely, that could be frustrating sometimes. But the more that you do place focus on that and the more that you do try to work that out within yourself, the closer you're going to get to feeling more complete, I guess you could say, and to feeling better within that area. Okay, the next question that I chose off my list was, can we talk about someone's sun being in someone else's eighth house and the relationship that that would create? Oh boy, a really friggin' heavy one that you're gonna feel like you need to like skim the water to get out in order to breathe. Is it obvious that I'm a Scorpio moon and rising? For real though, especially if you don't have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, that synastry with somebody could make you feel a little bit crazy. I actually have a friend who was in a relationship not that long ago where their moon, I do believe, was in somebody's eighth house. And they were like, I don't even know how you live being a Scorpio moon. This is so intense. I feel like so obsessed with this person and I can't figure out why. And actually, yeah, I actually talked to somebody not that long ago too with the sun placement as well. And they're the same way. They're like, it's such an obsessive placement and I'm normally not this person. So having your sun in somebody's eighth house or even having somebody else's sun in your eighth house, it's lighting up a very, very deep and kind of slightly dark area of life. Not necessarily dark, but the bond that that's going to create between you is going to be very illuminating synastry wise. Um, you're going to want to get to the bottom of things. You're going to want to know all of these things about people that, or all of these things about this person that this person might not really like be completely down to share and open up with everybody about, but they probably will feel the desire to tell you about it. If they are somebody who has a lot of Pluto in their chart or a lot of Scorpio, they might feel really unnerved by your sun being in their eighth, or the vice versa. It could go the other way as well. You could feel unnerved by them. It could feel like this person was in a very sensitive area of your life and they're like really trying to kind of turn the light on. And you're like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for you to see what I've got lurking around, lurking behind closed doors here. It could definitely feel very, very heavy for you. But if you can get past that and you can establish like some sort of trust together, there's a very good chance that you could create a very deep bond between you. Especially, I would think that would be more so true even if it was like a water sign potentially, like Cancer or Pisces or Scorpio even. That's going to create like more of a watery emotional bond. So you're going to feel that kind of at home. If it's more like an air sign, like Aquarius or Gemini or Libra, it's going to be a lot more airy and a lot more disconnected. And if you do have strong Scorpio elsewhere, it might feel a little bit weird. You might not feel necessarily comfortable with like all that opening up of sorts and unraveling of the onion. And the next question was, other than house placements, are there any noticeable personality differences between people born in the morning as opposed to afternoon or night? This is a very good question, and I think it's something that can't really be proven, but there are a lot of theories on it. I actually, if I don't know somebody's birth time, and I'm trying to decide what their birth time is, I'll ask somebody or I'll ask them or even whoever is trying to figure out what their ascendant could potentially be, because that's normally why you want the time, what kind of person they are, if they're a night person or a morning person. I know that they say people who are born at night are normally kind of more so leaning towards the moon energy. They're a lot more emotive, a lot more deep and introspective, while those born during the day when the sun is up in the sky, they're a lot more likely to be vibrant and kind of energetic and all over the place. But beyond that, I can't really tell you. I would definitely Google that. I know there's about a million different theories on how that can change your personality, from the basis of both astrology as well as back to like just general spiritualism, even like pagan type spiritualism that will give you a guide on how the lunar phases will shape your personality. So yeah, I would definitely look into it that way, but hopefully my information was semi-okay on that. And the last question is on the basis of stelliums, and this is what I was kind of excited about because I love talking about stelliums. I see a lot of people talk about their stelliums, but I don't have any. Are they rare? It seems like a good amount of people have at least one, if not two or more. What are the benefits of having stelliums and the negatives of not having one? To answer your first question, I can't say that stelliums are necessarily rare or common. In the time that I've been reading charts, I would say each chart that comes to me, it's for like a 50-50 chance. Like somebody will have one, somebody might not have one. What else did you say? What are the benefits of having stelliums? Absolutely nothing if you don't know how to use the energy to your benefit. The way that I explain stelliums, and this is why I was kind of excited to talk about these, is a stellium is like having an orchestra. For me, I have one in my third house, so it's like having a friggin' orchestra in my head, literally. But in order to get like all of those planets like flowing together, you need to learn how to train the energy to work together. So if you don't have the energy trained, or if you're just like a new soul or even a child, you're gonna have this like orchestra that is just like firing stuff off in random directions. Now, if it's planets like that are more beneficial together, like say like Venus and Jupiter, and like what's another one that would be good with those two? Neptune maybe even would work. Those are gonna flow a lot more smoothly. But if you're like myself and you have Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Mars all in your third house, you're gonna have to learn how to really finely tune those to work together. So, and the basis of like the positives of having a stellium, there really aren't any until you learn how to master it. But once you do, you kind of learn how to master it in a way that you're given the advantage because you have such a deep and immense amount of focus that you can kind of pour into and within one area of life. And yeah, it's not really positive or negative. It's not really rare or not rare, especially with generational planets. I think we saw a flood of stelliums come in with the Capricorn, Uranus, Neptune, and I'm drawing a blank right now. There's all those planets in Capricorn, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn generation. Because a lot of them definitely had all of those generational planets all within the same sign. And some people go kind of back and forth with stelliums. Some people consider stelliums to be 3 planets in the same sign, and some people consider them to be 4 planets in any sign. I don't really care about any of the statistics. I have an Aquarius Mercury, and I like to make up my own rules. In my opinion, if there's energy all smack dab in one area, and it's all conjunct, and it's all sitting within the same area of your life, you're going to feel that. And you can consider that a stellium if you would like to. But yeah. Stelliums are tricky. It's like having an orchestra. You have to learn how to get all of those planets kind of flowing within the same rhythm and sounding nice. And that can take somebody, or the chart holder pretty much, years and years to accomplish. But once you can, you kind of have the advantage. So it's kind of got that whole Saturn vibe to it where you're kind of learning, or yeah, you're learning as you go, I guess you could say. So yeah, guys, these are the first 4 questions of our Dear Astra column, and there will be more of these. And I do believe that some of the other admins will probably be typing out the questions as opposed to speaking them, but probably due to my stellium that I just spoke of, I do not do well with typing all the time. Sometimes I need to just speak. So I was also asked to remind you guys, if possible, if you could please provide your birth details, that would be fantastic. I completely understand if you feel like there's like a breach of confidentiality there. But it does make it a little bit easier for us to give you questions, or to give you accurate answers. I apologize. So yeah, keep them coming, guys. I'll put the link at the bottom of this video to where you can ask more questions. This was fun. Okay, bye.